Yo, not him just finding this size when I'm this size now. The fuck? Like, you know how many fucks ago that was?
To a developing story right now. Tonight we are hearing from a woman who says she watched a mother try to run away from her boyfriend's gunfire.
34-year-old Nicholas Finley now is charged with capital murder after detectives say he robbed and killed his 29-year-old girlfriend, Merseana Struggs. It happened at a park, the park at Cumberland Apartments on July 19th.
It's just after 7 p.m. on July 19th, 2024 in Houston, Texas. The sun is dipping below the horizon, casting a golden haze over the park at Cumberland Apartments, a sprawling complex of low-rise buildings nestled at 505 Cypress Station Drive. The air is thick with the humid weight of a Texas summer evening, the kind that clings to your skin and makes every breath feel heavy. A young woman, breathless and terrified, sprints through the parking lot, her footsteps pounding against cracked asphalt. Her eyes are wide with fear, her heart racing as she glances over her shoulder. She's running for her life, desperate to escape the shadow closing in behind her. This is a story of Merseana Struggs, a 29-year-old single mother whose life was cut short in a moment of unimaginable violence. A woman who moved to Houston with dreams of a better future for herself and her young son, only to meet a fate no one could have predicted. What drives someone to chase down a person they claim to love, to stand over them and pull the trigger? And how does a community grapple with the loss of a woman described as a rock for a family, a beacon of kindness and resilience? Welcome to Dark Truth Files, where we dive into the stories that haunt us, seeking the truth behind the tragedy. I'm your host, and today, we're unraveling the heartbreaking case of Merseana Struggs, a story of love turned deadly, a community shaken, and a family left searching for justice. Before we begin, let me know where you're listening or watching from. Drop a comment below, and let's connect as we explore this case together. If this story moves you, please subscribe, and share to help us honor Merseana's memory and raise awareness about the epidemic of intimate partner violence. Tonight, we'll walk through Merseana's life, the chilling events of that fateful day, the investigation that followed, and the questions that still linger. So, settle in, and let's step into the shadows of this tragic story, starting with a woman at its heart, a mother, a sister, a daughter, whose light was extinguished far too soon. Merseana Struggs wasn't just a name in a news headline or a statistic in a sheriff's report. She was a vibrant, 29-year-old woman whose presence lit up the lives of everyone around her. Born and raised in Louisiana, Merseana was the kind of person who left an impression. Her smile was infectious, her laughter a melody that could lift even the heaviest of hearts. Her sister, Kimani Struggs, described her as loyal, kind, and beautiful, a woman who was a rock of their family. To her 8-year-old son, she was everything, a devoted mother who poured her heart into giving him a life filled with love and opportunity. Merseana's life was defined by her determination to build a better future. Reports indicate she had recently relocated to Houston, Texas, chasing a fresh start for herself and her son. Houston, with its sprawling skyline and promise of opportunity, was supposed to be a new chapter. She had dreams, big ones. Friends and family say she was working towards stability, possibly pursuing a career that would allow her to provide for her son and create a home where he could thrive. She was always thinking about him. A close friend shared in a statement to a local news outlet. Everything she did, every choice she made, it was for her boy. Growing up in Louisiana, Merseana was no stranger to challenges. While specific details about her early life are private, those close to her paint a picture of a woman who faced adversity with grace. She was a glue that held her family together, often stepping up to support her siblings and parents through tough times. Kimani's fundraiser for Merseana's funeral expenses reveals a glimpse of her strength. She was our rock, Kimani wrote, her words heavy with grief. She was a loving mother, daughter, and sister. This wasn't just a platitude. Merseana's actions backed it up. Whether it was helping a family member through a crisis or being a shoulder to lean on, she was there, unwavering. Her love for her son was the heartbeat of her life. At just 8 years old, he was her pride and joy, the reason she pushed forward even when life felt overwhelming. Neighbors at the park at Cumberland Apartments, where Merseana lived, remembered her as a doting mother who was often seen play with her son or walking him to the bus stop. One neighbor, Shawnee Drury, told reporters, she was kind, always smiling, always looking out for her little boy. Merseana wasn't just raising her son. She was instilling in him the values of resilience and kindness that defined her. UT Merseana's life wasn't without its shadows. Reports suggest she had experienced heartbreak before, including the loss of loved ones that left deep scars. Yet, she carried on, her spirit unbroken. Her move to Houston was a bold step, a testament to her courage. She wasn't running from her past, but toward a future she believed in. A future where her son could grow up safe, happy, and proud of his mother's strength. That dream, however, was met with a reality she couldn't have foreseen. Merseana's impact extended beyond her family. In the short time she lived in Houston, she began to weave herself into the fabric of her community. Neighbors describe her as approachable, someone who greeted everyone with warmth. She didn't know me long, Shawnee Drury shared, but she was beautiful inside and out. Merseana had a way of making people feel seen, whether it was through a quick conversation in the apartment complex's courtyard or a kind gesture to a struggling neighbor. Her legacy, though tragically cut short, lives on in the memories of those she touched. What makes Merseana's story so heartbreaking is how relatable she was. She was a single mother, working hard, navigating life's challenges, and doing her best to create a better tomorrow. How many of us know someone like her, a woman fighting for her family, carrying the weight of the world but still shining? Her story forces us to ask, how we protect those who give so much, who love so fiercely? And what happens when the person they trust most becomes their greatest threat? As we move forward, let's hold Merseana's memory close. She wasn't just a victim. She was a woman with dreams, a mother with hopes, a sister with love to give. Her story deserves to be told with the respect and care she embodied in life. So, let's step into the day that changed everything. The day her light was taken, but her legacy began to grow. July 19, 2024, started like any other day at the park at Cumberland Apartments in North Harris County, Houston. The complex, a maze of beige buildings and sprawling parking lots, buzzed with the usual rhythm of summer life. Kids playing, cars pulling in and out, neighbors chatting in the evening heat. But beneath this ordinary surface, a tragedy was brewing, one that would leave a community in shock and a family shattered. Merseana Struggs woke up that morning with no idea it would be her last. Reports indicate the day began with a seemingly routine task. Her boyfriend, 34-year-old Nicholas Finley, had been pulled over by police while driving her car. He called her, asking her to bring an insurance card to his location. It was a simple request, but one that would set off a chain of events no one could have predicted. Merseana, ever practical, arranged for a ride with neighbor's roommate to meet Finley. When they arrived, he was nowhere to be found. Confused but undeterred, Merseana returned to the apartment complex, her mind likely racing with questions. Around 7 p.m., the atmosphere shifted. Witnesses later told investigators that Merseana and Finley were seen together in the parking lot, their voices rising in a heated exchange. What sparked the argument remains unclear, but reports suggest it was tied to the earlier incident with her car. Merseana, perhaps frustrated or sensing danger, made a decision that would define her final moments. She tried to walk away. She jumped out her car and began to run, her footsteps echoing through the complex as she fled from the man she once trusted. Merseana, heart pounding, weaving through parked cars, her breath ragged as she searched for safety. The golden light of dusk bathed the asphalt, casting long shadows that seemed to chase her. She reached a neighbor's truck, Shawnee Drury's vehicle, and yanked at the door, desperate to get inside. The handle wouldn't budge. She banged on the window, her voice breaking as she pleaded for help, but the truck was empty. Shawnee, inside her apartment, heard the commotion and later told reporters she hid in her bathroom. Overwhelmed by the sound of gunfire that followed, Merseana didn't stop. She kept running, her legs carrying her as far as they could, but fear and exhaustion took their toll. She stumbled, her body collapsing onto the pavement near a cluster of apartments. Witnesses described a moment with chilling clarity.
Bullet holes are found on Shawnee Drury's front door.
It's right here. They're all of them are right here.
Her doorstop is where Merseana Struggs was shot and killed while trying to run from her boyfriend, Nicholas Finley. Drury recalls how it unfolded.
His lady got pulled over, and he needed her to bring the insurance card. And so my roommate took her to go down there, and he wasn't there. So when they came back, he was sitting right here in her car, and she jumped out and had a confrontation with him. And he shot her a couple times. My boyfriend pushed me back in the house, and we just went in the bathroom, and I just had my hands over my head, and it was so loud. I thought he was coming in the house because he kept saying he was going to kill everybody in the house. He was going to kill us for helping her.
Drury says Struggs fought to get away.
She made it into my truck, I guess, and he shot her 4 or 5 more times over there, and then she managed to make it over here at that point. And he shot her like 8 more times. It was just so senseless, so senseless.
Finley, armed with a pistol, caught up to her. He didn't hesitate. Standing over her, he fired multiple shots. Some reports say as many as 8, into her body. The sound of gunfire tore through the evening, a violent punctuation to Merseana's desperate fight for survival. She was pronounced dead at the scene, her life extinguished in a matter of moments. Neighbors were left reeling. Shawnee Drury, speaking to a local news outlet, described hearing the shots and feeling helpless. "It was so loud," she said, her voice trembling. "I just had my hands over my head." Another resident, who remained anonymous, told investigators they saw Merseana running, her face etched with terror, before the gunfire began. No one could intervene in time. Finley, according to reports, didn't linger. He grabbed Merseana's purse and fled in her vehicle, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The aftermath was chaos. Sirens wailed as Harris County Sheriff's deputies swarmed the complex, their radios crackling with urgent calls. Paramedics arrived, but there was nothing they could do for Merseana. Her body lay still, a stark reminder of the violence that had unfolded. Residents gathered, some in tears, others in stunned silence, as the reality of what had happened sank in. For Merseana's family, miles away in Louisiana, the news would soon arrive like a thunderbolt, shattering their world. What makes this moment so gut-wrenching is the sheer desperation of it all. Merseana fought to survive, running until her body gave out, reaching for safety that was just out of reach. Why did this argument turn deadly? What pushed Finley to such an extreme act? And how does a community process a loss so sudden, so brutal? As we move forward, let's explore the man behind the gun and the investigation that sought to uncover the truth. In the wake of Merseana Struggs' murder, the focus turned to one man, Nicholas Finley, her 34-year-old boyfriend. Described by authorities as a sole suspect, Finley's actions on July 19, 2024, painted a chilling picture of a relationship gone terribly wrong. But who was Nicholas Finley, and what led him to commit such a heinous act? Investigators worked tirelessly to piece together his background, motives, and the events that culminated in Merseana's death. Finley, born November 7, 1989, was no stranger to Merseana's life. Reports indicate they had an on-again, off-again relationship, one that many of Merseana's friends and family were unaware of until after her death. Social media posts uncovered by online communities suggested Finley presented himself as a pro-black advocate, sharing poetry and content that positioned him as a lover of women and a member of the conscious community. Yet, this public persona stood in stark contrast to the man who chased Merseana through an apartment complex, gun in hand. How does someone reconcile such a duality? Was this a facade, or had something snapped inside him that night? Investigators quickly established that the crime was not random. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, in a statement to the press, emphasized this was an intimate partner murder. The Harris County Sheriff's Office, responding to the scene at 505 Cypress Station Drive, found evidence that pointed directly to Finley. Witnesses confirmed seeing him pursue Merseana, and security footage from the apartment complex captured parts of the chase, though specific details remain under wraps due to the ongoing case. The recovery of Merseana's purse and vehicle, which Finley allegedly took after the shooting, further tied him to the crime. That Finley's background, as pieced together by authorities, showed no significant prior criminal history, making his actions all the more shocking. Reports suggest he was a local resident, possibly involved in creative pursuits like music or poetry, but little else is known about his personal life. What drove him to such violence? Some speculate the argument over Merseana's car escalated due to underlying tensions, perhaps jealousy, control, or a history of unreported abuse. Merseana's family, through Kimani's fundraiser, described Finley as her ex-boyfriend, hinting at a relationship that may have been deteriorating. But without Finley's own account, which has not been made public, the motive remains a haunting question. The investigation moved swiftly. By July 23, 2024, deputies tracked Finley down and arrested him. He was charged with capital murder, a serious offense reflecting the brutality of the crime and the additional element of robbery, as he allegedly fled with Merseana's belongings. Sheriff Gonzalez noted that intimate partner violence accounts for 35% of murders in unincorporated Harris County in 2024, underscoring the broader epidemic. Love shouldn't hurt, he posted on X, urging the community to recognize the signs of abuse and seek help from Merseana's family. The arrest brought little comfort. Kimani's fundraiser revealed their anguish. My sister was recently killed in a domestic violence situation when she tried to recover her car. They believe Finley's actions were premeditated, a betrayal of the trust Merseana had placed in him. Yet, some online discussions, particularly on platforms like Lipstick Alley, raise questions about the lack of transparency from Finley's associates in the conscious community, who remain silent despite his public persona. This silence added a layer of complexity. Did anyone see warning signs, or was Finley's violence a shock to all? The investigation also highlighted the challenges of addressing domestic violence. The Houston Area Women's Center, cited in reports, noted that leaving an abuser is often the most dangerous time for a victim, with the presence of gun increasing lethality by 500%. Merseana's attempt to flee, to reclaim her independence, may have triggered a deadly response. This raises a painful question. How we protect those who are trying to break free, and what systems fail Merseana in those final moments? As the case moved to the courtroom, the focus shifted to justice. Would the evidence, witness testimonies, security footage, and Finley's own actions be enough to hold him accountable? Let's step into the legal proceedings, where the fight for Merseana's legacy continued. The arrest of Nicholas Finley on July 23, 2024, marked the beginning of a legal battle to seek justice for Merseana Struggs. Charged with capital murder, Finley was booked into the Harris County Jail, his bond denied due to the severity of the crime. The courtroom, a place where facts are weighed and truths are sought, became the next battleground for Merseana's family and a community desperate for answers. But as the case unfolded, unexpected details emerged, adding layers of complexity to an already heartbreaking story. Capital murder in Texas is a grave charge reserved for the most heinous crimes, including murder committed during another felony like robbery. Finley's alleged theft of Merseana's purse and vehicle elevated the charge, reflecting the calculated nature of his actions. Court documents, as reported by local news outlets, painted a stark picture. Finley pursued Merseana with intent, standing over her collapsed body and firing multiple shots. The prosecution leaned heavily on witness testimonies, including Shawnee Drury's account of hearing the gunfire and seeing Merseana's desperate attempt to escape. Security footage, though not publicly released, was cited as a key piece of evidence, capturing parts of the chase and shooting to Finley's initial court appearance was a tense affair. Reports indicate he showed little emotion, a stark contrast to the grief radiating from Merseana's family. Merseana Struggs, speaking through her fundraiser, expressed the family's resolve. "We are trying to get her back home to Louisiana. We appreciate any support." Their presence in the courtroom, though not detailed in public records, underscore their commitment to seeing justice served. For them, this wasn't just about punishment. It was about honoring Merseana's memory and ensuring her son's future. One twist that emerged was a revelation of Finley's public persona. Online communities, particularly on platforms like Lipstick Alley, uncovered social media posts where Finley portrayed himself as a pro-black poet and advocate. Photos linked him to figures in the conscious community, raising questions about how someone with such persona could commit such a violent act. This discrepancy fueled speculation. Was Finley's public image a carefully crafted mask, or had he spiraled into violence unexpectedly? The silence from his associates, as noted in online discussions, added to the mystery, leaving investigators and the public grappling with his true character. Another layer of complexity came from the broader context of domestic violence. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, in a press conference, highlighted the epidemic of intimate partner murders, noting that 35% of 2024's homicides in unincorporated Harris County involved such cases. This statistic, coupled with insights from the Houston Area Women's Center, underscored a chilling reality. Merseana's death was part of a larger pattern. The center's chief program officer, Chanika Brown, told reporters that the presence of firearm in an abusive relationship increases the risk of death by 500%. This raised questions about whether Finley had shown prior signs of violence, questions that remain unanswered due to limited public information. The prosecution's case appeared strong with physical evidence, witness accounts, and Finley's flight from the scene. Yet, the defense's strategy introduced potential twists. While no official statements from Finley's legal team have been widely reported, standard defenses in such cases might argue diminished capacity, provocation, or lack of intent. Could Finley claim the shooting was a crime of passion, not premeditation? Such arguments, if presented, would likely face scrutiny given brutality described by witnesses. The lack of a prior criminal record, as noted in reports, could also be leveraged to portray Finley as a man who snapped. Though this narrative would clash with the calculated act of fleeing with Merseana's belongings as of now, the case remains in pretrial phase, with no trial date publicly confirmed. The absence of a swift resolution weighs heavily on Merseana's family, who continue to mourn while advocating for her son. The courtroom, a place of hope and frustration, holds the key to accountability. But will justice truly bring closure? And what does this case reveal about the systems meant to protect women like Merseana? let's reflect on the broader impact and where this story stands today. As of July 23rd, 2025, the case of Merseana Struggs remains open, with Nicholas Finley awaiting trial for capital murder. Locked in the Harris County Jail without bond, he faces a potential life sentence or even the death penalty if convicted. The wheels of justice turn slowly, and for Merseana's family, each day without resolution is a reminder of their loss. Yet, their strength shines through a testament to the woman who was their rock. Kimani Struggs fundraiser, which continues to gather support, speaks to their resilience. Any extra funds will go to her surviving 8-year-old son, she wrote, ensuring Merseana's love for her child endures. The impact of Merseana's death ripples far beyond her family. In Houston, the park at Cumberland Apartments is quieter now, the memory of that July evening etched into the minds of residents. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez's words linger. Love shouldn't hurt. His call to action, echoed by local organizations like the Houston Area Women's Center, emphasizes the need for community awareness and resources to combat intimate partner violence. In 2024 alone, 35% of murders in unincorporated Harris County involved domestic disputes, a statistic that underscores the urgency of this issue. Merseana's story is not an isolated tragedy, but part of a national epidemic that claims countless lives each year. Unresolved questions haunt this case. Did Merseana know the danger she faced that day? Were there warning signs that went unnoticed? Reports suggest her relationship with Finley was tumultuous, yet many in her circle were unaware they were together. This raises a sobering question. How do we recognize the silent cries for help in those around us? The Houston Area Women's Center offers resources like the DART Unit, 713-308-0080, but for Merseana, help came too late. Her story challenges us to act, to check on our friends, to listen, to advocate for those who may be trapped in dangerous situations. Of Merseana's legacy, though, is not defined by her death, but by the life she lived. She was a mother who dreamed of a better future, a sister who held her family together, a woman whose kindness left a mark on everyone she met. Her son, now in the care of family, carries her spirit forward. The fundraiser, which aims to bring Merseana's body home to Louisiana and support her son, is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in grief, love endures. She was loyal and kind and beautiful, Kimani wrote. Those words are a call to remember Merseana not as a victim, but as a light that continues to shine. For the Dark True Files community, this case is a call to action. Intimate partner violence is preventable, but it requires awareness, education, and action. Share Merseana's story. Talk about the resources available in your community. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous relationship, reach out, whether to a hotline, a friend, or a local organization. Let's honor Merseana by ensuring her death sparks change. Drop a comment below. What can we do to break the cycle of domestic violence? Your voice matters. As we close this chapter, let's hold Merseana Struggs in our hearts. A woman who ran for her life, who fought for her son, who deserved so much more. Her story reminds us that justice is not just a verdict. It's a commitment to protecting those we love. Thank you for joining us on Dark True Files. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay compassionate, and keep seeking the truth.